Hi guys, welcome back to another quick rundown crochet tutorial. Today I'm going to be making Anya from Spy X Family. Since I have reached 5,000 subscribers, woo! Thank you guys so much for the support. So I decided to create another doll tutorial. And if you don't know already, this is not a step-by-step tutorial. It's just a quick tutorial where I tell you how to create the dolls after every few steps. This video works in conjunction with the Little Weeby doll pattern, which is down in the links below, which you can use that to follow along with the color changing tutorial. With that being said, these are all the supplies that I'm going to be using. So here is my 3.5mm hook. Here is a tiny hook that I use to weave in little yarn strands. Here is a fabric scissor. I have a stitch marker, as well as my yarn needle and my broken felt tip needle that I use to poke in little extra strands that stick out, and it just makes it really easy for me. Super convenient. I have a more in-depth video of all the crochet tools that I use in my tutorial playlist, so go ahead and check that out if you're new to this. And as for the colors, I'm going to be using this fire red by I Love This Yarn, and here is pink by I Love This Yarn as well. Next we have this Kelly Green by Impeccable, and I'm also using Honey by Yarn Bees, and these are my basic color palettes, my prime colors that I use for almost every doll, which is white, black, and this is the skin color. The one I'm using today is Magnolia Way by Crafter's Secret, but you can use whichever colors you like and whichever color is available to you. Same goes for your supply as well. And also, one last thing, I won't be having any captions for this video because that is a lot of work. So instead, I will leave the links to my Ko-fi page down below, so that way you can see the written form of this video for free. Woo! Go ahead and follow me on Ko-fi as well if you're interested in these little patterns that I give for free now and then. Thank you guys so much, and let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is create the shoes. Rounds 1 to 3 in black. For round 4, do back loop only in white. And I suggest you to start stuffing the shoes after round 5. And then we do rounds 5 through 7 in white. So this is what it looks like so far. I still have this black string right here, which I'm going to go ahead and take my fabric scissors and then just kind of cut like a short strand. Then I'm going to take my yarning needle right here and put it through the loop. I'm gonna go ahead and take this yarn needle and like put it on one of the sides right above round 3. So I'd say like maybe somewhere right here. I might adjust this part later. So go ahead and pull this through. This will be the little strap for the shoes. So it's basically gonna go over like this. And that's how she has her shoe strap. And I'll be doing this part later. We could just leave the string loose for now. And let's go ahead and finish off the rest of the leg. And for round 8 to 9, we'll be in skin color. So here is what it looks like after I made one of her legs. Go ahead and repeat the same process and create a second leg. Now we're gonna go ahead and join them with round 10, and here is round 10 finished. I went ahead and used skin for round 10. After this, we're going to switch out the back side, change it back to white, and do rounds 11 through 12 in white for her panties. And so now I'm going to go ahead and sew on these little extra strands right here with my yarn needle. And from this part, I'm pretty much just going to guesstimate where I want the straps to be. And I just like pull it down tightly enough, that way it won't get loose. But you can always like glue it on if you want to. And then I just go back in the same round, or like the little same loop, the same stitch. That way I can go ahead and secure it by pulling it down like this. And then tucking it inside of the leg. So here's my needle on the inside. I'm just going to go ahead and pull that through. And then tuck this yarn in. Now we're going to do this for the other side as well. And it's just easier to do these little shoe straps when the legs are joined together. That way you can put it on accurately. Because I've done these straps when the legs are separate and it doesn't look as accurate or like proportional, I guess. Here it is. Let's do the same thing. And there you have it. So for the next part, we're going to be making the skirt. I am using black yarn and I have chain 28 for round 1. Then I'm going to go ahead and join it with the very last stitch right here. Join it together. Pulling this loop up, taking my stitch marker. Now I'm going to go ahead and single crochet into every chain all the way around, and I will meet you guys back. And here's what it looks like after I have single crocheted in the first round of the skirt. And ignore this little short strand right here. I just had to add on another strand because my yarn was too short. And next for round 2, you will want to put 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, followed by a half double crochet increase in the next stitch, and repeat that all the way until the end of round 2. Then we are going to take this out and change to the next color. Okay, so for round 3 on the skirt, change to honey yarn or whatever gold yarn you have, and then do 1 half double crochet in each stitch, back loop only, and then close it, and this is what it should look like. So I decided to do the back loop only because I think it gives like this little cleaner edge along the bottom part of the skirt, and I think it doesn't look that bad, so we're gonna go ahead and do this instead of the regular half double crochet. And there we have it. This is the skirt so far. That is what it looks like. Okay, so now back to the legs. I am doing rounds 13 in black. And so here is the little white strand right here for the panties that we did. I'm gonna go ahead and cut a little bit of loose strand right here. Then take my yarn needle and we're gonna go ahead and close up the bottom part of the panties, because when you join the legs, there is this little gap right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my white yarn needle and create this little closure. And I just sort of weave in from the front to the back to the front again, just like that. Goes all the way back to the front, and I do this again and again till the gap pretty much closes. Okay, so here is what it looks like when I closed up the gap. You can see it looks like a little cross stitch at the bottom, and that is about it for the panties. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and join the skirt on round 14 using black yarn. I will be right back. And here's what it looks like when the skirt is attached on round 14. Now for rounds 15 through 20, which pretty much finishes off most of the dress area, will be done in black. And this is what it looks like so far. And to finish off the neck area, next we're going to go ahead and do rounds 21 to 22 in white. So for round 22, I made sure the stitches, the single crochet, is extra tight. So I simply like pulled the yarn tightly, so that way it's really tight stitches. So that way it can keep the head from wobbling too much. I'm currently switching out to skin color, and I will be doing rounds 23 all the way up to round 30, and then we're gonna come back for the eyes. Okay, so now I'm back after round 30. Next, we're gonna insert in 12mm black safety eyes. I got 2 of them right here, and I will insert them according to the instructions with about 5 stitches apart. So in order to tell if the eyes are straight, I turn the doll upwards like this, and then try to make sure the eyes line up with each foot, and that's how I know that they're even. Next, I'll be taking my Kelly green yarn along with my yarn needle to create the iris, since she has emerald green eyes. And here is how I do the eyes, starting from the bottom. Then I go ahead and put it into the corner. And I do it for the other side as well. Next, we're gonna go ahead and snip this off. Now I'll be taking my black yarn to create her eyelids. I'm gonna go ahead and give her the rounded corner eyes, starting off with this corner, and then going over here. And do the same thing on the other side. Then we're gonna go ahead and snip this off. Here are a couple of my washers, which I'm gonna go ahead and pin it down. That's what it looks like. Now I'm gonna go ahead and flip this upside down, take my broken felt tip needle. Now we're gonna take some fabric glue, place it along the top of this eyelid right here. Then I take this eyelid and now I'm going to place it down and do the same thing for the other side. And there it is. With the eyes secured in place, we will now finish off the head with skin yarn, and I will be right back once I am done closing off the head. Okay, so here is what it looks like when I am done with the head. There it is. Okay, so now I'm going to take my honey yarn or gold yarn and then put it through a yarn needle. And now I'm just going to go ahead and start sewing on a gold outline along the back of the body right here. I'm just gonna have this like wrap around like this. Not exactly sure what the back looks like, but I assume the outline also goes along the back side. But it doesn't matter too much anyway because she will have hair covering up this part, I think. And I'm going to go ahead and take my broken felt tip needle and then simply just stuff this in to the body. And there it is. Everything is nice and tucked in. That's what it looks like so far with this little outline. And I almost forgot about this part. So here is the front side. And I'm going to be referencing to the neck area. She has this little badge right here, or the birch thing that goes across. Let's see her neck. I'm simply just going to sew on this little detail. And then stab the rest into the neck. For the next part, I'll be taking this fire red yarn and then take my yarn needle to create the little ribbon that's on the neck, which is basically the area where the badge is. And I'm just going to go ahead and sew on 2 little lines. And I guess that's decent enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and snip this off and do the same thing and tuck it in. This is what it looks like so far. The hair cap will have 4 inner rounds. After that, I went ahead and created 4 outer rounds, and there it is. I'm gonna go ahead and close it off. And here is the hair cap that we just made. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on to her head. And in order to line up the hair cap properly, make sure you put the hair cap on the 4th round from the eye. So here is round 1, round 2, round 3, and make sure it covers up that 4th one. So there should be 3 rounds exposed above the eyes, so that way she has enough forehead space. And then I'm just going to secure this down with fabric pins. I like to put one on the back, one on the side, and one on the top for starters. Here is another one that's on the side. Try to make it like even as possible. Just gonna go ahead and pin that down, and I can just like sort of make little adjustments afterwards. And there you go. So you have 3 rows of forehead space, and the hair cap is pinned down with 4 pins so far. So the way I like to secure my hair cap is just really like the lazy route. I just simply take the back pin and then like put it right here and lift this part up. Then I take my fabric glue and I shake it like crazy until the glue comes out the bottom, and then I simply put in this much amount of glue onto the back of the hair cap. And that's basically how I secure my hair cap, but I see some other people, if you want to make it a lot more secure, you would sew on the hair cap onto the head from around the edges, but I simply just place mine down like this, And it just stays in place. I don't really play with my dolls, so there's no reason for me to secure it by sewing it down. Just sewing it down along the edges right here really helps it stay in place. But I've never had any other issues with the hair cap falling off. Unless I am giving it to a kid, then yes, it will fall off. And there we go. So the bottom part should be pretty secured. I don't really do anything with the top part just because I usually have bangs that are glued onto directly from the hair cap to the forehead. Not sure if I mentioned before, but I'm literally freehanding this tutorial as I go along, so it's like my first time making it. Hopefully you guys understand it so far. We're good, right? Okay, let's continue. This is what the doll looks like so far. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and make her arms. Go ahead and make 2 of them. They're both gonna be the exact same thing. So for rounds 1 to 2, use skin color. For round 3, switch to the honey yarn and do back loop only for the entire round. For round 4, do regular single crochet in honey all the way around. And starting from this point, go ahead and start stuffing the arm just a little bit. Now for round 5, do back loop only in black yarn. And for the rest of the rounds, go ahead and finish it off regular single crochet with black yarn. And here is my duplicate arm right here, which will now be attached onto the doll on round 20 as according to pattern. And this is pretty much what it will look like once I sew it on. Okay, so I'm not sure how I'm going to be doing this next part because we're focusing on the details on her dress. She has dotted lines that go down vertically on both sides of the body. I'm not going to tell you what to do here, but I guess I can show you how I decide to do this. Take this yarn on this side, cut a long strand. For now, I'm just going to leave this one alone in case I want to readjust it. And I suggest having the actual reference right next to you as you're working on this, because I've done these dolls without the reference right next to me, and then I end up getting some sort of detail wrong, or I'm like missing a detail. Oh my gosh, do you guys see this? This is not bad for the very first attempt. You have just witnessed me freehanding this. Woo! Okay, yeah, maybe it could be better, but you know what? I'm pretty happy with this. If I were to try this again, it probably wouldn't be this good. And now I will be going on to the back side because she has one dotted line that goes down the middle. There it is. The back side is done. There it is, the front side again. Super happy with this. Now we're going to move on to the head. Now we're going to be creating her hair with pink yarn. So the same as the hair cap. I am making hair strands with a reference to my Ninky hair tutorial pattern, which is also linked in the description box below if you want to follow along, or you can go ahead and freestyle your own hair. So here I am starting off with an 8 chain, and I'm simply going to pin this down along the first ring, or like the last ring of the hair cap. And I'm thinking about kind of bending this shape since our bangs are kind of wavy right here. And I'm going to be taking this fabric needle and pin it down just like that. Now for the next part, I am trying out another 8 chain, and I'm thinking about putting it right here next to the first one. And I'm going to try to bend this hair strand as well. Give it a nice little forced curl. And try to pin this down right here. I don't really want it to cover the eyes, so I'm trying to keep it slightly bent. Gonna add another 8 chain over here. By the way, I'm not loving her eye color so much. I think I'm gonna change it out to a lighter green. And sometimes this happens, I mess up, but I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can change that right now before we finish the hair. Okay, so here's an alternative green color that I'm choosing out for her eyes. It's called Fern by Impeccable, which is a lighter green. And hopefully this looks a little bit better. I have my seam ripper right here, and I do this eye surgical process every time I need to remove the iris and replace it with another one. So I simply just go through this and pretty much rip it out. This part's a little bit hard because the washers are already in place, and so I just try to like tuck in the leftover yarn. And oh my gosh, her eyes look so plain without the iris. So let's go ahead and take this color and repeat the same process. Ooh, so far I think I like this color a lot better. That's the process of how I change color for my eyes whenever I mess up. And now we will continue on with the hair. I'm going to go ahead and add one more 8 chain right here on this side. Pin that down. And trying not to cover the eyelid, I will bend this part a little bit right here. Grab another fabric pin and ta-da! I think this is what it's gonna look like for now. So here is my 12 chain 2 together, one of the lesser common strands that I use. But since her hair kind of has like this little volume, I'm trying to see if I can use this to replicate that type of shape. I might make some changes, but so far I am adding it right here. So this is the last ring of the hair cap right here. Thinking about going ahead and taking this. So let me see if I can pin this down. And try to like bend it into place. So far, I think this may work. And here is the current progress so far. I have another 12 chain 2 together on this side. So as of right now, I have no idea if I'm gonna put this cone on her just yet, but look at the way this looks. I think it looks so cool. Let's go ahead and make another cone while we're at it. So for round 1, go ahead and take your black yarn and your hook and do a magic ring with 4 single crochet inside of that magic ring. For round 2, go ahead and single crochet all. For round 3, go ahead and do single crochet, increase all. For round 4, do 1 single crochet and increase in the next stitch all the way around. Okay, so for round 5, we're gonna switch to honey or gold yarn and then do 2 half double crochet followed by a half double crochet increase all the way around. Change back to black yarn and do 3 single crochet followed by a single crochet increase in the next stitch and repeat the same thing until the end. And then you're gonna go ahead and close it off. And this is what the cone looks like. So I went ahead and created 2 of these, and now we will get back to the head. Okay, so I went ahead and placed on both cones on the head. So for this side, I went ahead and placed the cone starting from the second to last bottom ring of the hair cap, and it goes all the way up to this 4th inner ring of this side. So from here, 1, 2, 3, and just touches the last one, 4. So 4 rings. And the other side is 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. So I try to make them even as possible. This is what it looks like on the front side. And here is the top part. And I also suggest stuffing in some of the stuffing into the cones too. And so here's another 8 chain, which I think I'm going to be adding on like this. Flip this one upside down. Other 8 chain, and do the same thing on the other side. For the next part of her hair, I went around and worked the edges of the hair cap as usual, using 12 chain 2s together. So this is the one that we did earlier, and I added 1, 2, 3, 4 more 12 chain 2 together on the back side, and I just made sure they lined up evenly along with this one, this first strand right here, so that way her hair length could be about the same size. And I pinned it down with 3 pins right here, that way they could stay in place. And the rest, I think I will go ahead and fill them up with 8 chains. So here's another 8 chain right here, and I think I'm just simply going to put it down just like that. She has this one middle strand poking up, and again here is the 8 chain strand, which I'm putting for the middle strand that's poking up. So here are the 4 inner rounds right here. So here is round 1, 2, 3. On the third one, that's where we're going to place down the 8 chain, and then I'll also put another pin on the 4th inner round right there, so that way it can stay in place. And this is what it looks like from the front part, that little strand that pokes up. And then simply go back and fill up all the empty spaces with 8 chains. Just make sure they fit in snug, and I'll be back with the last part just so we can see how I did that. And here's what it looks like when all of the 8 chains are placed and pinned down. So I got like 2 little 8 chains right here, 8 chain that's filled up this way and just fills in little spaces like that. Here it is on the back side. I try to make it like this. They're standing up vertically, and they kind of like lie down in opposite directions, just so it can like fill up the space evenly. And I just added 2 last ones right here just to fill it up. And there it is. These are the 12 chains 2 together. I'll have the total amount that I used for her in the Ko-fi link. And yeah, this is pretty much it for hair. I think this is pretty cool, using these 12 chains 2 together to create the short strands of her hair. And since these are already dry, I can just go ahead and like remove the pins. By the way, how many of you guys have read the manga for Spy Family? Because I read like a few chapters and it was so good. I was like waiting for the anime to come out. And now that the anime is out, I'm like a few episodes behind. It's really good. It's cute. I love it so much. It's funny. Very cute anime. Oh my gosh. Anya is adorable, which is why I decided to create this tutorial for her today. Such a cute character. And I love how everybody just has like a secret role in their family. Super, super cute. I do want to crochet the spy and the hitman as well. Who's your favorite character? Because I think mine is Anya. And I would think that if you're watching this video, you probably have seen it already. Otherwise, what are you doing here? Such a cute character. I'm so glad she's a part of my collection now. Can't wait to make the other 2. And I have finished removing all the pins. And just a little note, since I forgot to mention earlier, this little part right here, I didn't glue it down, so that way it looks like she has some volume on the side of her hair. And same with this one right here. I kind of left like a little bit space. That way I can kind of like curl it back here, and hopefully it shows on the front side, because I don't want her hair looking like it's too flat. So I try to like bring it out on the side right here, kind of like this. That way you can kind of see the little curl on the front. Hopefully that makes sense. I like for her hair to have some sort of volume. You see that? Gives this little wave, little volume. But in the back is fine. The back could be like whatever. And I think that's good enough for the back side. Yeah. And there you go. This is it for the tutorial for Anya from Spy Family. I am so excited about it. Love it so much. And if you made Anya following this tutorial, please tag me on Instagram and I will share it to my story. Thank you so much for 5K and all the support on Ko-fi. I will be back with another video soon. Bye!